Alright, things are looking good here. Hello everyone! Artemu the Violet Wizard here, and today we're continuing the Pokémon FireRed Nuzlocke. Last time we managed to have a pretty easy battle against Misty in Vermilion City and made our way over to Vermilion City, where we managed to get a bunch of stuff done around here, namely getting the HM for Cut on board the SS Anne, as well as catching a few new teammates. So this session we'll be taking on the Vermilion Gym, earning our third gym badge, and then we'll get to see what else we're able to find in the Kanto region now that we have the ability to cut. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting one. Want to quickly show off here. So in between sessions, I did train up our latest catches. I feel they would be useful. Well, one of them would be useful for this gym coming up. And then I wanted to train up Sarah, our Drowsy, as she'll be very useful for later in the game. So as I said before, Psychic types are really, really good in Kanto. Definitely try to get one of these. Alright, so our team is looking pretty good for the fight, all things considered. Especially with us having Wilma here. God, she is going to be so good coming up. And while I took the time to train up our party, I also managed to go back to Vermilion City, and I got the bicycle! So now we're just able to ride around on our bike. Man, this thing kicks ass! And I can watch Madagascar while I'm driving! These animals are so funny, they make me want to merge without looking! Woo! Yeah, Rumsfeld! Alright, but enough of that whole business, because we got a gym to take on. So in order to access this area, we naturally need to teach the HM for Cut to one of our Pokemon. And yeah, HM's certainly one of the less desirable features of the original Pokemon games. Especially with this one. It's 50 base power, which isn't that bad by this point in the game, but it isn't the most accurate of moves, and once we teach it to a Pokemon, it's going to be on their moveset for quite a while. We'll definitely have to wait before we're able to eliminate these moves, so yeah. We're going to be teaching this one to Boss, as I feel out of all of our options, he seems like the least likely to see much use outside of this area. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of Fury Swipes for Cut. Oh, what just happened? Ah! So now Boss is able to cut things. Alright, buddy, let's use your big, sharp pickaxe to cut down this tree. Ham-ha! There we go. So now we are able to finally access the Vermilion City Gym, as well as some other things that have opened up to us now that we have access to Cut. We'll be taking care of all that in a little bit, because I want to do the gym first. Yo, champ in the making! Lieutenant Surge has a nickname. People refer to him as the Lightning American. He's an expert on electric Pokemon. Bird and water type Pokemon match poorly against the electric type. Wear paralysis too. Lieutenant Surge is very cautious. He's locked himself in, so it won't be easy getting to him. Silly guide. There's no such thing as the bird type. This is no place for kids, not even if you're good. So the Vermilion Gym here is naturally themed around electric Pokemon. Electric Pokemon are usually characterized by being very fast and strong, so a lot of these guys would give us some trouble depending on the type of Pokemon you are naturally using here. Electric types also have very few weaknesses, and in the more recent games they're even completely immune to the paralysis status, which can be pretty helpful. Not so much in this game. But yeah, if you manage to catch a Diglett in the Diglett's tunnel and get it trained up, then they are going to have a very easy time just cruising through this gym. We did get paralyzed, but I'm not too troubled. Okay, some of the Pokemon here will use Double Team, and that can be a bit of a pain. This Double Team will make Pokemon more evasive, making it harder to actually hit them. Ooh, that thing actually did a lot of damage, but we got a magnitude 10. Man, boss is really hitting hard here, which naturally would expect from a big, beefy rodent like him. Wow, surprised me. Yeah, you also surprised me a bit with that power. But then again, Diglett aren't really known for their defensive power. This guy is definitely going to be taking a bit of a beating here, but he should be fine. Also want to briefly show that I have my Pokemon equipped with Oran Berries. So when they lose some health, they'll be able to recover health. I'm a lightweight, but I'm good with electricity. That's why I joined this gym. Yeah, another good thing about having our Meowth in reserves is that while training up my other Pokemon, I was able to pick up a lot of items with Oliver. So we have a good supply of berries that will be pretty useful for the remainder of this run. Just having all of the additional healing effects are very good for us. We're just completely ignoring the fact that we're fighting a Voltorb here. And there's a Magnemite. Magnemite are definitely pretty unique. In the Gen 1 games, these guys were pure electric, but starting in Gen 2, they gained the Steel typing, which definitely gives them a lot of good advantages in a lot of ways, since it gives them so many resistances. But it also makes them extra weak to ground-type moves, so take advantage of that type weakness when you can. Fried! Yes, sir, you are definitely fried. Alright, now we're taking care of that. We should be good to go here. Okay, I'll talk. Lieutenant Surge said he hid switches inside something. I wonder where the switches could be. When I was in the army, Lieutenant Surge was my strict CO. He was a hard taskmaster. Yeah, kind of interesting even this far back they had references to war in these games. And specifically, what I'm trying to say here is that a lot of the war references here, just with the time frame that this game was initially released, I believe that they meant to imply that Lieutenant Surge served in the Vietnam War. Since this game came out in the 90s, and considering Surge's age, yeah, that seems to be the implication there. Back when, you know, this series actually referenced real-world events. It's not easy opening that door. Lieutenant Surge was always famous for his cautious nature in the army. Well, definitely good to be prepared against certain threats. I don't want to waste a potion on you considering your current health. Let's open up our berry pouch and just give you a little Oran Berry. Just want to make sure my team is good and healthy for this battle coming up. It's another good advantage to take with this gym. If you don't have any ground-type Pokemon, then grass Pokemon could actually be pretty decent here, since grass types are also resistant to electric type attacks. So what we want to do in this gym, we need to check all of these trash cans here to try and see if we can find the switch. And there's another thing with these switches that we'll definitely want to keep in mind when we get one. Nope, it's only trash. Trash. Hey, there's a switch under the trash. Turn it on. The first electric lock opened. Now, traditionally, you should be able to find the second switch right next to the first one. Yeah, sadly, if you fail, you have to redo the entire puzzle. And yeah, this one is pretty mean. Oh, there's a trash can, so it's either one of these. Nope. Darn it. Oh, there's a switch. Nope. God damn. This frickin' gym. Oh, there it is. The first switch was in the last place I checked. Oh, there it is. Nope. Oh, come on. Yeah, this gym is kind of annoying with trying to get through this. Definitely one that speedrunners hate because of just the RNG involved. So, yeah, you're definitely going to be spending more time in this gym just trying to find the locks. Come on. Oh, there's one of the switches. Nope. Come on. Also didn't acknowledge it right now, but hey, Xavier. It's very good to see you here. Yeah, this has definitely been a bit of a pain, but we'll get through this. I forget how much trouble I might have gotten from this back in my Leaf Green streams of this back on Twitch, but probably can't be as bad as it was here. There it is! Finally got the second switch, which unlocks the path over to the Lieutenant. Alright, we should be fairly good for this battle. Alright, let's do this. Hey kid, what do you think you're doing here? You won't live long in combat, not with your puny power. I tell you kid, electric Pokemon saved me during the war. They zapped my enemies into paralysis. The same as I'll do to you. I mean, when you live in a world with rats that are able to shoot electricity from their faces, what's the point of having a gun? So Lieutenant Surge here is our next gym leader. He's gonna have to take care of his elite army here if we're gonna get our next gym badge. To answer your question there, Xavier, yes indeed. And it's also the name of the Geodude I had in my Emerald Nuzlocke way back in the day. Alright, there takes care of Voltorb here. So we should be having a pretty decent time here in this gym, considering how I built my team for this one. Just gonna let Boss handle the small fry, and then we should switch over to Wilma to handle the ace. Because, yeah, I don't know how well Boss is gonna do against the final one here. So, Surge's final Pokemon here is Raichu, the evolution of Pikachu. As you would expect, this thing is very fast and very strong. And it's got Double Team. Oh boy. Yep, so we can definitely expect some trouble here. However, I don't believe this Raichu has any moves that are going to be able to do much damage to Wilma. And the most this thing will do is with normal attacks, and yeah, I don't think it's going to be able to do much to us. It's very lucky that we were able to get a Geodude back in Mount Moon, because definitely makes this gym a breeze. But yeah, we just gotta weather all this double team, just let him use his Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, and pray we're able to get that hit that will end this battle in one shot. But yeah, while we're doing this, I just want to mention that I really like the episode of the anime when Ash faced against Lieutenant Surge in battle. And just the overall feel of that episode and how it was the first real battle that Ash really had to just to try his best in order to overcome it. And the strategy he ultimately used to beat Surge was quite clever. Since Surge's strategy was just using overwhelming power against his opponents, Ash was able to use that to his advantage by using Peach's smaller and faster build to be able to evade attacks from Surge and eventually tire out Raichu until he can get the one final move in to finish it off. Just such a good episode. Really liked it from the first season. It was a blast. Okay, this is getting really annoying. Don't like the fact this thing managed to do that much damage to us and just not able to get a hit in here. There's not much it can do to us. This is just such a hassle. Alright, can the Magnitude 7 take you out? Yep, there we go. Oh, thank you, Wilma. That was definitely something. It was definitely annoying is what it was.
Now, that's a shocker. You're the real deal, kid. Fine then, take the Thunder Badge.
With that, we got ourselves our third badge.
The Thunder Badge cranks up your Pokemon's speed. It also lets your Pokemon fly lightning quick anytime, kid. You're special, kid. Take this.
So yeah, the new ability we got from Surge will definitely be handy when we eventually come across the HM to use it.
TM34 contains Shockwave. Teach it to an electric Pokemon.
Now this move that Surge gave us, this could definitely be useful for a variety of different Pokemon. Not just electric types, but it is pretty good just in general to teach to someone. 60 base power, and it's always going to hit the opponent. It cannot miss. So that makes it really useful. And with that, we have finally managed to take out our third gym here. So now that we've taken care of things here in Vermilion, it's time to make our preparations in order to, well, just do what we need to do next. Oh yeah, that is a good point. His main strategy being evading attacks. Yeah, that's certainly a thing there. Alright. So now we've taken care of that. Yeah, I want to keep using Wilma, so Boss is going to be a little redundant here. So we'll take him off and put Zoe back in. And just thinking about the area that we're going to be seeing in a bit, it'd be good to have two of our grass types for the time being. Just thinking about what I want to do for the next big area that's coming up, because it's definitely gonna take a while for us to get through this next big area. So I think our team's looking pretty good here. Okay, I think we are pretty much good to go. Let's just swap Zoe into the front for reasons. Alright, so the next thing we're gonna want to do... Oh, hey buddy. Oh, hello Hayden, how are you doing? It's me, one of Professor Oak's aides. Did you meet the other aide? We had a package from Professor Oak for you, Hayden. He said he'd look for you around Route 2. If you're in the Route 2 area, please look for him. So Route 2 is all the way over back by Vermilion City, and it's going to be quite a while for us to get over there. However, now that we have access to the move Cut, there is a shortcut we can take to that area that'll make things very useful to us. So what we want to do is head back into Diglett's Cave. So we didn't get to fully explore this area the first time we were here. This area is pretty much just one long, winding cave. The only Pokemon you'll get to see here are Diglett, so there's not much when it comes to potential catches in this area. But want to go all the way through this, as it will be a nice way for us to be able to quickly go across the Kanto map. I didn't mean to go for Pursuit there. Yeah, it's kind of awkward to have that move on Zoe in this generation, considering that move is still counted as a special attack in this generation. Oh boy, I do not recall the specific comic you're referring to there, Javier, but that definitely must have been harrowing. No, just that rare chance of encountering a dug trail can be really shocking. I went inside a rock tunnel, but it's pitch black and scary in there. If I could get a Pokemon to use Flash and light it up, hinting at something we'll eventually be able to acquire. But for now, we have this area over here. So actually back on Route 2, which is pretty dang good for us. Oh, right, I talk cut to boss. Okay, considering our options here, because I really don't want to head all the way back to Vermilion just to switch a teammate out. Raditz, we're going to teach you this move, but I don't want it. Too bad. We'll get rid of Sweet Scent, because I don't see that being too helpful to you. And you'll be taking care of Cut for the time being. Oh, joy. So now if we bring this tree down, this gives us access to the part of Route 2 that we were able to access leading into Pewter City. So that is very nice, giving us a quick shortcut back to this area. And now that we have access to Cut, we are finally able to cut down this tree leading to this section of the museum. And over here, we got quite a bit of things to see. You can't sneak in the back way. Nice try, kid, but no. Oh, whatever. Do you know what amber is? No. Amber is actually sap, that gooey stuff that oozes from trees. The ancient sap fossilized over time to become rock-hard amber. Also getting a bit of a science lesson here. Shh, listen, I need to share a secret with someone. I think this chunk of amber contains Pokemon DNA. It'd be a shattering scientific breakthrough if Pokemon can be resurrected from it. But my colleagues just ignore what I have to say, so I have a favor to ask. I want you to get this examined at a Pokemon lab somewhere. And we received the old amber from the scientist here. Get the old amber checked. So this is a reference to the movie Jurassic Park, which is all about dinosaurs being resurrected from the DNA that was found inside of insects frozen in fossilized amber. It's quite interesting. We have 2 fossils of rare prehistoric Pokemon on exhibit. It's nice seeing all of the different references made throughout this series. The secrets of space, the mysteries of Earth. There are so many things about which we know so little, but that should spur us to study harder, not toss in the towel. The only thing you should toss? Well, how about Seismic Toss? Should I teach that to a Pokemon? So Seismic Toss here is quite a unique move. It is an attack that, rather than having a base power like other attacks, it always does a set amount of damage based on the current level of, I forget if it's the Pokemon using it or the level of your opponent. But yeah, it's a pretty interesting move. Not one I'm going to teach enemy on my Pokemon, but you are able to tutor them that attack if you have the desire to learn it. Okay, so with that taken care of, it's about everything I wanted to do in Pewter City for the time being. Just wanted to pick up the old amber. And we are going to make our way over here. There's a lot of things we can see over here on Route 2 now that we have Cut. A fainted Pokemon just has no energy left to battle. You can still use moves like Cut outside of battle. I'm looking for the Pokemon Abra. Want to trade one for my Mr. Mime? Now this could be a pretty good trade for you. Now, one downside to that trade is that you're giving up Abra, which naturally evolves into a pretty sweet Pokemon, especially if you're able to trade it to get it to its final form. But Mr. Mime is still a really good Pokemon. Just having some good special attack and special defense, being naturally pretty fast. And it also gets a very nice, I'm thinking, just by being a traded Pokemon, it also will grow faster than most other Pokemon that you catch throughout the game. So that's definitely a very nice little thing you're able to get with it. Yeah, Mr. Mime, I could definitely recommend. It's a really good fighter. And it's so good that I even used it back in my Leaf Green streams over on Twitch back in the day. Good memories. Hi, remember me? I'm one of Professor Oak's aides. If your Pokedex is complete data on 10 species, I'm supposed to give you a reward. Professor Oak entrusted me with HM5 for you. So Hayden, let me ask you, have you gathered data on at least 10 kinds of Pokemon? Great, you've caught around 21 kinds of Pokemon. Congratulations, here you go. And with that, we receive yet another HM. HM05 contains the hidden move Flash. Flash lights up even the darkest of caves and dungeons. So yep, once again we got ourselves another HM. So this one will lower the accuracy of your opponent. Ironically, it doesn't have much accuracy to begin with. And it can be used to light up dark caves. In this particular game, there's only one of those that we need to worry about. So yeah, this HM is very situational. I do not care for it a lot. And I'm really glad that later games made it just a regular TM, so you can quickly swap it out for a different move later on. I faintly recall there being a hidden item here on this route that's really good and useful. I forget exactly where it is, or if it's even here in this version of the game. At the very least, we picked up a few things here. But yeah, we're just going to move on now. Because by taking this shortcut, we're able to quickly go to Vermilion City. It's been a while since we've been over here. And wouldn't you know it, there's yet another thing we can get with Cut. And this one, I definitely want to grab. So if we head down here... I must have dozed off in the sun. I had this weird dream about a Drowsy eating my dream. And I learned how to eat dreams. Ugh, this is too spooky. Let me teach it to a Pokemon so I can forget about it. Which Pokemon wants to learn Dream Eater? So this is a fairly unique attack, and one I can definitely recommend teaching. So this move is a draining move like Absorb, except it is much stronger, having 100 base power, and being able to restore half of the damage inflicted on the opponent on your Pokemon. However, it can only be used on a target that is sleeping, so it's rather situational and works well in tandem with Pokemon that are able to put opponents to sleep, like we can see with Sarah here. So we're gonna go ahead and forget Disable so she can learn Dream Eater. So I definitely want this on her moveset. Yes, this should be very good. Ugh. So that guy is just going to be sleeping there. We're going to leave him to that. But yeah, this move is definitely a good one that we want to have. Kind of another interesting aspect about this move is heavily associated with the Drowsy line, since their entire gimmick is that these Pokemon are known for eating the dreams of their prey. However, these Pokemon aren't naturally able to learn this move. It is not in their level up moveset. At least in this game. Probably one of the later ones eventually added it in to make it more convenient to have. But yeah, this is certainly a very useful move. One that's definitely going to make our Sarah here quite a useful battler on our team. Because I definitely know that she's going to be really useful in the coming fights ahead. But with that taken care of, you're pretty much good to head back through Diglett's Cave, as there is nothing more we need to do around this end of the Kanto region. Of course, we're going to need to plan out our next move. There's quite a few different places we can try to reach. So, Saffron City is currently off limits due to the guards there just being so thirsty that they don't want to let anyone through. How does that work, really? And the road to the east of Vermilion is currently blocked by that big sleeping Pokemon. So, out of the different options that we currently have, it seems like the road to the east of Cerulean is pretty much the only other place that we can go at the moment. So we're gonna go and try that path and see where we're able to get to. Yeah, we're gonna be encountering a lot of moles down here. It's nothing too painful to deal with, especially with our current team here. So wanted to lead with Zoe in this area specifically because the most powerful attacks these guys have are ground, and being a flying type, she's naturally immune to those attacks, so I don't have to worry about any nasty surprises down here. I mean, there is still, like, the very rare chance of encountering this thing's final form down here, but the chances of that happening are pretty low. So we might not have to worry about that. Alright, will you please stop cutting me there? It's pretty interesting that this family of Pokemon naturally learn a lot of cutting attacks when the only parts of their body you can see clearly don't have any sharp bits to them. Again, whatever is underneath all that dirt is only implied. It's pretty funny because one of the Mystery Dungeon games has you saving a Diglett from a precarious position on a mountain, and then later the Diglett comments on how his feet still feel like they're in the air. And then the other Pokemon are like, wait, he has feet? Yeah, just a very amusing piece of dialogue. Something I've really enjoyed back from playing the Mystery Dungeon games. And they are so fun. I just love the concept of being able to play as a Pokemon and getting to interact with a Pokemon as if they were people, you know? It's very, very fun. Just getting to see all the different worlds you're able to explore alongside these creatures. And it's such a blast. I love those games so much. Really hoping that we get to see a new Mystery Dungeon game sometime in the future. Or at least a remake of the Explorer games from the DS, because, my god, those games are so good. Boy, this area is a bit of a pain. Come on, the ladder is right there. Okay. This wasn't too bad, all things considered. But now, we can finally get out of this tunnel. Man, that was exhausting. Alright, but with that done, we should be pretty good to go. Sarah, definitely want you in the lead because you're our lowest level teammate at the moment. So yeah, the next thing we'll want to do is head on up to Cerulean, and we'll be able to continue our journey. Yeah, don't exactly have an end goal in mind for this session, but we'll definitely try to make as much progress as we can in this next chunk of the game. So definitely have a lot we're going to see. And speaking of things we want to see, with the current area coming up, I'm thinking a little bit about which Pokemon would be most useful in this area. We definitely have a lot that could be very good here. So obviously feel that our grass types, and Leaf is obviously going to be pretty useful here. So would Zoe. Wilma's very close to getting a substantial power-up, so definitely want to keep her in. A little worried about type redundancy, but we don't really need to worry about too many opponents that our grass types would be weak to in this next area. Just also concerned because we're going to need to teach one of our Pokemon Flash. I guess we could worry about this later. So there's going to be another Pokemon Center on the way to this next area, so we can hold off on that until we're through this next chunk of the game. Just want to briefly look here. Yeah, we certainly got a few bug types really early on. So don't think we're going to really need Tackle on Bulbo, but I also don't want him to have an HM move. I'm not really expecting too many upgrades to his moveset in the future, so I guess we could give him Flash. Again, we'll save that for when it eventually becomes relevant to us. But for now, we are pretty much done with everything we need to see around Vermilion. Just want to check our inventory here to make sure we are all stocked up on supplies. Yep, we should be good. Alright, so let us get moving. Just want to quickly take the underground path to get back up. Ooh! I just decided to check the ground because we could find things down here. We actually picked up a spare Ether. Now, I do believe the items down there can replenish over time, so it's good to check every once in a while to see what you can find. But with all that taken care of, it's time for us to move forward. So now we got Route 9 over here. So this area is going to have quite a lot of battles for us to take care of. And you see that patch of grass up there? Believe it or not, we've encountered every Pokemon that can be found in the grass on this route. So there aren't any new Pokemon we can find here. So, yep, that's a route that we won't be able to obtain any new Pokemon from. That's all good. So we still have plenty of options for the future. Now it's time to finally get some action with Sarah, one of our more recent team members, and one that is going to be really useful in this run. Like I said before, Psychic types are really good in the Kanto games, because such a large chunk of the Pokemon you'll be encountering here are part Poison type. And with Psychic being super effective against Poison, that makes them really good at taking care of a lot of opponents. So yeah, Sarah here. Hopefully, we're going to be able to take her all the way to the end. She is going to be such a good battler against these Pokemon. I shall do the best I can in service to the team. We did get paralyzed, so that's a bit of a pain. Yeah, I'm not too worried when it comes to damage from these things, because even if they get some hits in on Sarah, she is pretty bulky. Especially when it comes to special attacks. So she should be able to weather anything these Pokemon can do to her. Alright, could you stop that, please? Just want to get this. There we go. Well, it's a good thing I stocked up on healing items, because, yeah, we have a lot of things to do. Oh, why did you have to say that word specifically when I was using a Drowsy? God, speaking of Mystery Dungeon, there's a certain Drowsy that appears in one of the games that's associated with some pretty awful things, and of course you would say that when we have Sarah here. So we check that. That gives us the TM for Aerial Ace. That is a really good... that's a really good flying type attack. It functions very similar to Shockwave in that it's an attack that can never miss, which can make it really useful to you. So I'm gonna wait a while before we can get to show this off, just because I want to make sure our team is adequately prepared for what's ahead. And I just want to make sure that we're not going to waste any of our TMs unnecessarily should something happen. It's another good reason to have Sarah on board. We'll definitely be encountering a lot of fighting type trainers as well. So she is going to be very useful at dealing with these Pokemon. And next up is an Onix. So we can let one of our grass types deal with this one. Give Sarah a bit of a break. Alright, this guy's putting the squeeze on us. We're just looking at this thing. So being squeezed by a giant rock snake, yeah, that would definitely hurt a lot more than what this thing is doing to us. Like I said before, Onix really isn't that strong, surprisingly. Certainly pretty intimidating looking, but yeah, it just goes down all the same.
Keep it coming, eh?
Nope, we already took you out. So while we're just going through this route, there's a few things I wanted to talk about. So pretty much nothing really has changed much with my home situation. What do you mean saying my Pokemon are good looking? Kid, you need to get off the internet. This guy's got himself a Growlithe. Considering what this thing can have, there's a certain move that I definitely don't want to get hit by on this thing. Wilma, you can handle this one. Which is good because you need the experience for what's coming up. Sure, go ahead and shoot your fire. I don't care. But yeah, about some things that have been going on. Yeah, we're still having troubles with our dishwasher. And yeah, it's really not too bad. But yeah, we're still not having much luck figuring out just how to fix this thing. So for the time being, we'll just have to wash our dishes by ourselves. Which really isn't too bad to do. I mean, I've definitely washed a couple dishes in my day. But yeah, there's something to get used to while we work on fixing this bit of a home problem. Out like a light! Oh, I know exactly what you are going to have. Let's switch Zoe in for you. I got up early every day to raise my Pokemon from cocoons. So got ourselves another bug catcher here. In fact, this is going to be one of the last bug catchers we're going to see in the main game here. As from this point forward, we are not really going to see too many of these guys, especially bug-type users. It's kind of fitting as these guys tend to be more of the low-level opponents. And don't really feel like a suitable challenge when you get later on in the game. What? What a total waste of time! I mean, you gave me some good experience, so I feel that was definitely a worthy encounter. So, like I said before, this patch of grass, there is nothing in it that is new to us. We can only find Rattata, Spearow, and Ekans if you're playing FireRed. If you're playing Leaf Green, you can find Sandshrew in there. So, yeah, that's about everything we're able to get from that patch. There's another hiker. Let's lead with Raditz for this one. Just want to be careful when we're going up against hikers, because around this point, you can expect to see if they're using Geodude. If they're at least level 21, like this one, then there's a certain move these guys have in their moveset. So just being able to take them out quickly is going to be really good at being able to avoid any unnecessary problems. Alright, at least we don't need to worry from Onix. Alright, that should give us another level up for Raditz. Very good. And with that, Raditz wants to learn Acid. Oh boy. So considering our options here, I currently have Sleep Powder on Bulbo, and then we also have Hypnosis on Sarah. So we're gonna get Sleep Powder to learn Acid. This is, of course, a Poison-type move, and kind of a more unique one in that it doesn't actually poison. Instead, it has a chance of being able to lower the defense of the target, which is certainly nice to allow some more damage from your attacks here. But yeah, you're more of a special attacker, so long run this isn't going to be too useful on you, buddy. But at least it's something. Yeah, it's another thing to kind of go over with some of the older games. Yeah, Poison isn't really the most useful type when it comes to doing damage to opponents, since most of the Poison-type attacks usually have pretty low power, and you won't get to have a whole lot of good options, or really any good matchups in some of the early games to be able to effectively use them. Since in these games, the only type that Poison is super effective against is Grass. And obviously that is not too good, considering the fact that Grass also has a lot of other weaknesses, namely to flying, bug, fire, ice. So yeah, Poison definitely feels pretty weak when it comes to other typings, and your chances of getting some more powerful Poison attacks aren't going to be until really late in the game. My bugs! Sorry about that, kid. Definitely want Bulbo for what's over there. We also got this kid. Let's see what you got. I'm taking the rock tunnel to go to Lavender. There's another patch of grass over here. However, there's nothing that's really exciting here still. So we'll hold off on anything here. I mean, if one of our Pokemon were to accidentally get axed, this could be a good way to catch a replacement for them. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. Ooh, Sandshrew. This is an easy experience for Bulbo. Oh, I feel bad hurting this Pokemon because it's one of my favorites, but at the same time we need experience, and we can't not defeat opponents in a trainer battle. So it's a necessary sacrifice. Alright, got ourselves a level up on Bulbo there. And what's next? Ekans. Okay, for you, how about we set up a Leech Seed? I have a specific reason I am doing this, which will be just to get some additional health off of this thing. Because I'm just going to be switching now. Sarah should be fairly good against this thing. I know this thing has Bite, which is one of the few attacks that can actually do super effective damage against Psychics. But I'm not too worried. Sarah here is definitely going to be able to handle this thing. It definitely helps that Bite is technically a special attack in this game, so Ekans does not have the ability to use it well. You have to Rock Tunnel too? Yeah, sorry, there's nothing more we can see here. That's going to be helpful. And yeah, Bulbo, you can lead in this next fight. Let's pick up a Chestoberry there. Very good.
Haha, aren't you a little toughy?
Yes, yes I am. Bryce. It's actually funny, I got a friend named Bryce. Open one of the Discord servers that I'm in. Just finish off these rock guys. And we should be about ready to head to the next area. So I believe there's still one more trainer we gotta deal with on this route. Yeah, there are a lot of battles over here. Alright, Machop. Let's give Sarah a shot at this thing. And while we're dealing with you, how about we actually show off that new move we got on Sarah? So want to put you to sleep with Hypnosis. Actually managed to work there, very good. And while the opponent is asleep, we can consume his subconscious. I feel renewed. Okay, that went pretty well. Okay, yeah, we got one more opponent. Though we technically don't have to fight her, but I want experience. Don't you dare patronize me. Okay. Because you're an optional trainer, alright, Caitlin. It's actually pretty funny. I remember my mom telling me that if I was born a girl, she would have named me Caitlin. So, that's pretty fun, bit of trivia. Ooh, managed to confuse you. Yes, using the attack Confusion, there are quite a few psychic attacks. Because they target the mind of the opponent, they can also inflict confusion on them. So that's obviously a very good additional reason to pick up these Pokemon. Of course, you managed to break through of that confusion there. Yeah, confusion can be really nasty, being able to prevent a Pokemon from being able to move, while also dealing damage to that Pokemon as they hurt themselves. Definitely a pretty viable strategy. Now that we've taken care of that, we are finally on Route 10. in this area, we actually can encounter a new Pokemon. Considering options here, let's have a Bulbo take the lead for this one. So I feel like he would be necessary for handling the opponents we can find here. There is only one new Pokemon that we can find on this route, and it could be a pretty good one. One I could definitely see myself training up, should we manage to get it. Just on the topic of some of the encounters in this game kind of being on the low side, and just in general the routes having pretty limited options. This isn't the case if you're playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Those games like completely reworked the encounters for like every section of the game. So you have so many opportunities to be able to get a lot of Pokemon, especially ones that you wouldn't normally be able to see. For instance, you remember the option we had to trade an Abra for a Mr. Mime? So if you're playing Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you actually have a chance of encountering Mr. Mime in the wild. You don't have to do a trade to get them. And it's like that for a lot of Pokemon, where they're just a lot more plentiful in a lot more areas. And I definitely remember this place having quite a few Pokemon that you wouldn't normally be able to see here back in Red and Blue. So I definitely appreciate all of the additional options that those games have for encounters. Just in general, I think Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee are kind of underappreciated, but I can also see why a lot of people don't typically gel with those games. Specifically, the fact that the catching system is entirely based on the Pokemon Go mobile game. And yeah, that can definitely be a bit of a pain. But for the most part, still perfectly serviceable game. I still think they are pretty good, especially as remakes of the Kanto games go. Alright, can we please put you to sleep, because for some reason this ball will not go into the ball I'm throwing at it. But yeah, this is Voltorb. They are very fast electric-type Pokemon and can be quite useful. And considering our very limited options when it comes to electric-type Pokemon, I definitely want to see about using this thing on our team going forward. And hopefully it's able to do well. Probably wait until after this stream to actually train it up, but it can be good. Voltorb, the ball Pokemon. A life form whose identity is unknown. It's said to screech or suddenly self-destruct. This is actually an instance of an artificial Pokemon, because Voltorb just naturally started appearing after the invention of Pokeballs. And if anyone is familiar with a certain game called Legends Arceus that also has another variant on Voltorb that I find kind of interesting lore-wise. Alright, it's got itself a Voltorb here. This is also an instance of a genderless Pokemon. So, normally you'd be able to encounter Pokemon that can be either male or female. Voltorb is one of the exceptions, as it does not have a set gender. So this one, what are we going to call you? Well, there is a Voltorb that I had back in my very first Nuzlocke run that is documented over on my DeviantArt account. We're going to call you Coilette. And with that, managed to take care of one more catch on this run. So yeah, Voltorb could definitely be pretty useful to us. It's a very fast Pokemon, and with it being electric, definitely has some good potential going forward for quite a few opponents. But yeah, we'll hold off on training you until later. A nugget's totally worthless, so I sold it for $5,000. Good on you.
The types of Pokemon match up differently with each other. Every type is stronger than some types and weaker than others.
Good to note. Oh, Hayden, I've been looking for you. It's me, one of the ever-present aides to Professor Oak. If your Pokedex complete data on 20 species, I'm supposed to give you an award from Professor Oak. He entrusted me with this Everstone. So this is a pretty unique item we're able to get here. The Everstone is a held item that prevents a Pokemon from being able to evolve while it is holding it. It also has some other applications if you're looking to breed a Pokemon, but we're going to save that discussion for later. I heard that ghosts haunt Lavender Town. So we'll want to keep that in mind for later. So let's take a look at Coilette here, because she could definitely be useful. Ooh, she has a quiet nature, so that improves special attack at the cost of speed. Given that Coilette is already a pretty fast Pokemon, I will take that. That's pretty good. If I remember correctly, this Pokemon doesn't really learn too many electric moves in its level up moveset. So it could be a good idea to teach Coilette Shockwave. But for now, we don't need to worry about that. So yeah, this Pokemon Center here is going to be our last chance to really heal up and prepare our team for this next area. As I said before, pretty much got the team how I want it, so we should be pretty good for traveling through this area. In terms of some other stuff I want to take care of, be a good idea to deposit the Everstone, just because I don't want it cluttering up my pockets. Yeah, sadly, in these games, you have very limited inventory space. So you need to cycle different items out from your PC to be able to use them most effectively. So I'm actually going to take a rare candy from the PC, specifically for one of my Pokemon who's pretty close to getting a pretty nice bonus in a little bit. Not you, because you are very, very close. All we need just one more battle for you. But yeah, that candy is going to be pretty useful for one of our Pokemon. You can pick up a Persimberry there, which is nice. And of course, we got ourselves another battle here. I've been out at a Pokemon gym a few times, but I always lose. Picnicker Heidi over here. Well, you got a Pikachu, so that'd be pretty good for the Cerulean Gym. I don't see which one you're having problems with unless you're going up against Lieutenant Surge, then yeah, I guess that could explain it. Alright, guess something else that I could mention, it's because we don't got a lot going on at the moment. Something that I wanted to do is want to see if I could grab a bit more, just want to grab some more Pokemon merch. Especially because I recently managed to get my taxes done, and so I got a pretty good surplus of additional funds at the moment. So yeah, I managed to pick up one little figure of a Pokemon called Scorbunny that I really like, and yeah, I'm pretty much going to be looking out for any other merch that I want to pick up in this area. But it's finally time for Wilma to evolve. Oh, I've been excited for this. Now she's got 4 arms. So would that technically make her an insect because she got 6 limbs? Nah, we're not going to worry about that. So Wilma's now evolved into Graveler, making her much more powerful than she was as a little Geodude. So yeah, that is some very nice attack and defense on her. now that she is in this form, also want to mention that normally it would be pretty tricky to be able to get this Pokemon evolved, as Graveler is one of the Pokemon that requires being traded in order to enter its final form. However, we're not going to worry about that with this game. Let's just go forward and see what happens, you know? Anywho, it's finally time for us to enter Rock Tunnel. We got ourselves a new dungeon here, and like this game has been anticipating here, this place is dark. So we're going to have a good way to navigate this area. We need to teach one of our Pokemon Flash. Yeah, considering our options, I don't believe Bulbo is going to be learning too many exciting moves in the future. And I don't really feel that Tackle's going to be really useful on him because you're more of a special attacker. And I obviously don't want to get rid of these moves because they are really good status moves on you. So we're just going to forget Tackle and give you Flash.
Oh man, that felt weird.
So how you feeling, man?
I feel like I'm gonna explode! Just kidding.
Oh man, you were so cheeky. Alright, but now that we've taken care of that, we managed to fully illuminate this cave, giving us a pretty good way to just light this area up and show the path ahead. I know specifically what this trainer's going to use on us, so let's just go in here. Pokemon fight! Ready, go! So this guy is a Pokemaniac. So these guys, I typically use a wide variety of Pokemon. And these guys, yeah, just from the appearance of their sprites, they're Pokemon fanatics. You know the ones. If you've ever been on the internet before and seen anything Pokemon related, yeah, they're those guys. So we should have a pretty decent time dealing with these guys, all things considered. They have pretty varied teams, all things considered, but we have a pretty varied team ourselves. We should have an easy time dealing with them. Game over! For you, maybe. Haha. So yeah, we got ourselves a pretty sizable dungeon to get through. This place is very similar to Mount Moon in terms of layout. Just have to navigate this area as best we can. And this place also has some chances to get some new encounters. There's certainly quite a few Pokemon we can get in this area that I'm pretty excited about seeing. One of them in particular could be really nice for us. And it's one that we missed out the chance to get back in Mount Moon. Yep, here it is, Zubat. This is definitely a Pokemon I am pretty happy about seeing. Alright, we didn't KO it, so that's good. Zubat here is a Poison Flying type Pokemon. It's mainly known for being very fast and very irritating, as it gets a lot of status moves that are just built to irritate you, like Supersonic and Confuse Ray. And while it seems pretty weak at first, this thing can really be useful. So let us just try to catch you. Oh, and I just noticed the Zubat is female. Oh, that means I got the perfect name in mind for you. It's after our very first Nuzlocke run we did. Zubat, the bat Pokemon. It has no eyes. Instead, it relies on its ultrasonic cries for echolocation to flit about in darkness. Yep, we got ourselves a blind bat. So for this Pokemon, back in the very first Nuzlocke run I ever did, I actually had a Zubat, and she ended up being surprisingly one of the most useful Pokemon I had ever had in that game. So, welcome back to the Team Flandre. Very excited to bring you aboard. If I ever decide to train you up, because, I mean, we got another good flying type over here. So with that, we managed to get ourselves a new encounter. It's a rugged rock, but a Pokemon may be able to smash it. So that's going to relate to something we're not going to see for quite a while. So we're just going to leave that be as we move on for this area. So I'm not expecting too much in the way of trouble for the rest of this area. There are a few trainers I do want to watch out for, but when it comes to normal Pokemon, yeah, we don't need to worry too much here. Alright, got another level up on Sarah. Ooh, you are getting so close to something I'm really excited for. But we'll wait a while before we get to that. See what this guy's got. I draw illustrations of Pokemon when I'm home. I mean, I like to draw Pokemon too, my man, but, you know, try to keep it suitable for all ages, for the most part. I mean, I have said that I've been experimenting more with just drawing more spicier content. You can see on my DeviantArt if you are into that sort of thing. Yeah, we're just gonna put this guy to sleep and then switch on over to one of our other Pokemon, because this guy is a Psychic type, and yeah. For different options, Bulbo would be able to hit this thing the hardest, so you take him on, man. Alright. God, I would really like to use a Slowpoke, because I said this before in, like, all of my previous streams, how much I adore the Slowpoke line. Sadly, this thing is exclusive to Leaf Green, so I will not be able to catch it in this Nuzlocke run. But sometime in the future, I would really like to use this thing on a team, because I love the Slowpoke family so much. They're such good Pokemon. One day. Whew, I'm exhausted. Guess we don't have to talk about this guy and his illustrations. I'm an artist, not a fighter. I'll go home to draw. Yeah, you keep doing that, man. Just as long as it is appropriate. Alright, what else do we got here? So, considering what's going to be coming up, I would definitely like to try to level up Sarah above all of our other Pokemon in our team. Specifically because she is really close to getting a very nice power-up. And, yep, just feel like it'd be a good idea to... Oh, it picked up a revive. Hopefully that's not a gruesome sign of things to come. But anyway, while we're just going through this area, what's some other stuff that we can talk about that's been going on? So nothing really has changed too much for me for the time being. But in terms of some other content that I have been checking out recently, I don't often come here, but I will battle you. Alright, can definitely appreciate the experience here, Marfa. So in terms of some things going on, so pretty recently I have heard that the Minecraft movie has come out, and yeah, I have no interest in watching that thing. But from what I have heard from some people online, they have said they got some ironic enjoyment just from some of the things in that movie, despite saying that, yeah, it's not good, but there are aspects of it that these people did like. So, you know, pretty fun to hear about that. Not gonna watch it myself, but at least other people had fun with it. It's also kind of sad to think about, considering that I really like the game Minecraft myself, but yeah, I just have no interest in seeing the movie. even if it does have Jack Black, and I really like him as an actor. I like tiny Pokemon, big ones are too scary. You say that when Bulbasaur is actually one of the largest of the starter Pokemon options. I just want to keep you healthy for what's to come. Alright, what else can we see here? Because we still haven't seen all of the encounters that we can have in this cave. I mean, technically we have, but we haven't found them out in the wild, you know. Just to talk about the other encounters we could get here, considering that I already got my catch. Do you know about Pokemon cosplay? Yeah, I've seen quite a few cosplayers in my time. You clearly only have part of your cosplay. Ah, man. See if we can put you to sleep. No. Alright, not too worried about this thing here. You shouldn't have too much that can damage Sarah. But yeah, I have been thinking sometime soon I do want to get back into just playing Minecraft again, because I do really like that game. Just getting to explore a really large world and then also trying to build just whatever you want from it. Just a very fun sandbox game, you know, where you just have the ability to do whatever you want in it with very little restrictions. Yeah, just a very fun time getting to experience that game. Alright, Raditz, you can handle this little Kubo. Didn't really talk about it until now, but these little guys, I adore Cubone so much. They're just these cute little guys who are wearing skulls and they use bones as weapons. Pretty fun design for a Pokemon overall. And they also have some shockingly disturbing lore about them. Because you see that skull that this Pokemon is wearing? It's actually the skull from its deceased mother. And that Cubone frequently cries as it thinks about its mother because it'll never get to experience its warmth and love again. Ah, that is just such a disturbing concept for this poor little guy. Cubone deserves like a million hugs, poor thing. But anyway, now that that battle's done, I want to use our rare candy on Sarah. So now she can level up to level 26. For a very special reason, because she can finally evolve! Woo! So now Sarah can achieve her true Baku form. So now Sarah has evolved into Hypno. Yeah, like I said before, these Pokemon are based on the mythological creatures known as Baku. And she's certainly gonna be much more powerful in this form. Yeah, just look at that special defense. She is definitely a tank. Quite the good Pokemon. Especially at this level now that you are fully evolved. And hopefully we'll get to see more of you throughout this journey. So that said, let us move onward. We got a hiker here. Raditz, you take the lead for this one.
My Pokemon techniques will leave you crying!
Yeah, I doubt that.
Let's see what you got, Alan.
More of the same Pokemon we've been fighting before, but this one is level 25. So yeah, that thing would definitely have the bad move. The one that I really do not want to see in this run. It's probably going to happen at some point.
I give, you're a better technician.
Thanks.
In mountains, you'll often find rock-type Pokemon.
Yeah, that is usually a given with this series. I don't want Raditz to deal with you. Let's just run. We always have the option to run away from wild Pokemon.
Hit me with your best shot!
Okay. Eric over here has got himself a Machop. Alright, Raditz, yeah, you can handle this one. I don't expect too much it can do to you. So let us use Acid. Yeah, honestly kind of a weak attack because you're more of a special attacker over a physical one. But you know, it's still okay. Oh, finally getting to see Seismic Toss in action. Okay, yeah, Seismic Toss does damage equal to the user's level. I always forget exactly how that move works. So yeah, but it's definitely a good way to be able to do specific damage to an opponent without having to worry about the chance of getting a critical hit. Certainly a good move if you want to weaken wild Pokemon, but it's not one that we're going to need to worry about, for the most part. Alright, level up on Raditz. It's definitely pretty good, considering what we're eventually going to see. Also, yeah, this guy is referencing that song that's like, hit me with your best shot. Again, there's a lot of references to a lot of Western pop culture in this game. I do quite like all the references. This tunnel goes a long way, kid. Yeah, but it's certainly a big one. We're about halfway through this area, I want to say. Ah, it's Lenny. Where's Carl? Alright, Khalifa, you should be able to handle these next Pokemon. So, Khalifa, certainly been a while since we have had you, ever since we first caught you. And thankfully, much like Sarah, she is also very close to getting a very substantial boost to her power. So hopefully we'll be able to achieve that sometime soon. I mean, I got a booklet showing all of the statistics for the Pokemon that we can catch in this game, so I can just quickly go over and pick that up and check the statistics. But it's like a few meters away from me, and I don't want to go and grab it. So we'll be fine at just going through here as best we can. Ooh, boy, that actually did quite a bit of damage. Would have been bad if you rolled a higher magnitude. Alright, let's finish you with a low kick, and then we'll decide our next move. Alright, last Pokemon is Machop. Okay. So for you, let's go to Zoe. So we haven't had too much action with you lately. Okay, I don't appreciate that defense drop, but we should be able to handle you all the same. Woo! Critical hit! Good work, Zoe! With that, Khalifa levels up. Very good. Do you win? Do indeed. Alright, you took a sizable hit from that last battle. But I don't want to waste a super potion needlessly, so you'll take a regular potion. With that, pretty much all the team is around level 25, which is pretty good. Hopefully we don't have any unfortunate circumstances here.
Maybe I'm lost in here.
Yeah, this is definitely an area we can really get tripped up. Oh, Oliver, you have the same name as my Meowth. Yeah, especially if you don't have a Pokemon that's able to learn Flash. This area can be very tricky to get through if you don't have this area memorized, or if you don't just have a map of this area on hand. But yeah, while we're just dealing with this guy, what's some other stuff that we can talk about? So pretty recently, I'm very happy to say that I was right about a certain Let's Play that's been started. So a channel that I've been following for the last couple of God, it feels old saying this, decades, is the channel Chugga Conroy. And he has recently posted the first episode of his 51st Let's Play, which is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which I'm obviously excited for, because that's one of my favorite Zelda games, and I've just been a fan of this channel for so many years. So, yeah, I'm just really excited to get to see what is going to go down throughout this Let's Play. Should be a very fun time. This one here. So got that hiker. Just definitely want to be careful around these guys, because I know what Pokemon they have. We can just run into another wild, sure. So over here we can pick up an escape rope, giving us a quick escape from this cave if you need to refresh your Pokemon at any point. Hiker Lucas. Alright, we got some more Geodude to deal with. Shouldn't be much trouble for us, because we got ourselves a Bulbasaur evolution.
Dude, you forgot what species I am. Wow.
Hey, shut up. Alright, this is our first chance fighting a Graveler. But, of course, even having higher stats, you still go down to a single grass attack. As is tradition. I give! You'll give me what? I mean, you gave me experience and prize money, but whatever. Alright, so with that taken care of, we're able to take this ladder down. Yeah, this whole area, this entire cave is just so very long. As we can see here, we can actually encounter Machop in the wild. These guys can be quite good. They're very strong attackers and learn very powerful moves as they level up. And definitely some pretty useful fighting types. Though the moves they're able to learn in this generation are pretty low compared to the types of movesets they would get in the later games. But they're still really solid Pokemon. I really enjoy using the Machop line a lot. Let's get away from you. Also want to be careful looking around this area, because there's a certain thing we can find on this floor specifically that could be quite useful to us. Though, do you know how you can avoid getting lost in the mountains? You can bend twigs as trail markers. Actually, some pretty good wildlife advice there. Thank you, Sophia. And she got herself a Jigglypuff. Haven't seen one of these little cuties in a while.
And now we bury you under rocks. Such is your fate.
Oh, you're hitting me with a rock-type move yourself. Oh, the irony. But yeah, that move Jigglypuff is using on us there is quite special. Rollout is a really nasty move if you are unprepared for it. So it's a rock-type move that will lock you into using it for up to 5 turns unless you miss. But every time the attack lands, the attack builds up in power. So it gets twice as effective each time the attack lands, eventually being a very, very powerful rock-type attack. It can be really nasty if you let your opponent build up enough power to just totally body your entire team. It is nasty. I want to go home. Ugh, me too, and I'm literally in my home right now. Just that being in this cave is, you know, not good. When you're up on a rocky mountain like this, rock slides are a threat. Can you imagine? Boulders tumbling down on you. That'd be like, wah! Total terror. You don't seem to be scared. Want to try using Rock Slide? So this is a new move that we can tutor to our team. And quite a useful one we can teach either Wilma or Khalifa at the moment. Trying to think about this, considering our options for the future. Actually, that is pretty much going to be the best rock move that we can teach to Wilma here. So let's go ahead and teach it to her. Again, it's probably not the best idea, considering we could potentially give it to some other Pokemon later down the line. But yeah, I feel like it'd be good for Wilma. So this move is 75 base power, 90 accuracy, and it has a chance of making opponents flinch. Sadly, not too useful on a Pokemon that is very slow, as Wilma naturally is. But you know, it's still nice, should you manage to actually get it to work. Might be scary to use it in this tunnel. Nah, don't worry, I'm not gonna use it on you. Or am I? Oh yeah, this is pretty much one of the best rock-type attacks you can get here. Oh, actually managed to encounter Onyx. One of the rarer encounters you can have here, so pretty nice to get to see it here before we end our journey in the rock tunnel. Yeah, this guy just kind of your typical rock ground type. It's pretty fast and has high defenses, but really not the strongest guy. And if you're looking at this thing in this game and thinking, well, it's not going to be weak forever, I know what this thing eventually turns into. Yeah, about that. You're not going to be able to evolve that thing until the post-game. It's going to be pretty obnoxious, trust me. But yeah, if you're playing a different game and its evolution is pretty accessible, then Onyx can be a pretty good teammate for you. But here, yeah, it's not really that good. Alright, kind of thinking about some other stuff we can talk about while we're trying to get through this area. Ooh, level up on Wilma. No, it didn't happen. I thought it would be so funny if the thing that I was anticipating were to happen, like, immediately after Wilma just leveled up once. But no, it's going to be a while before we get that to happen. And that is perfectly fine. Alright, we see that hiker, and knowing what these guys are packing, Bulbo, you take the front.
Okay. Aha! Can you beat my power?
I have faced enough of you hikers that I know exactly what you guys have. Dudley. It's kind of a funny name when you think about it, like Dudley. Alright, guess to talk about some stuff that's been going on lately. Been still making some sizable progress through Xenoblade Chronicles X. Just in the midst of getting done some side quests before I begin Chapter 10, just so I make sure that we cleared up a good amount of the content that we have available to us. And also I want to get high enough level that we could do a mission in order to unlock a new party member. Because, you know, I always like getting those in the various RPGs I play. Just in general, I really like to get as many of the player character options as we can. It just feels nice, you know, to see the character select screen all filled up. Or maybe I'm just autistic like that, who knows. Yeah, besides that, work has also just been more of the same lately. Not really any big changes in that regard. which I guess can be a positive and a negative depending on how you look at it. But still doing good there. Wow, really? Only 2 hits that time? I shouldn't have to worry too much about what this thing can do to you. So something that has been happening pretty recently. So last night I was watching a streamer I follow by the name of Moxie2D. He was playing a Pokemon fan game that was created from a collaboration with FireRed and a team of Pokemon ROM hack enthusiasts, where they're creating a game that is entirely Mario themed, but it plays like a Pokemon game. And my god, just from the things that were shown off from both the video FireRed did and from the stream that Moxie did last night, my god, that game is just so fascinating to me. Like, a lot of effort was clearly put into this game to make it a very appealing in-game of both Mario and Pokemon aesthetics. And just being able to use Mario enemies as Pokemon and seeing the different teams that people are able to build with them is very enticing to me. So I actually have downloaded a copy of that game myself, and I'm looking forward to playing it sometime in the future. I don't plan on streaming it anytime soon because I'm already playing a Pokemon game right now. And typically I don't want to be playing more than one Pokemon game per year. So we'll definitely hold off on doing that on this channel until a bit later. I do want to make sure that we get to experience some other games on this channel, as we are steadily going to make this our main streaming channel for the foreseeable future. Eek! Don't try anything funny in the dark! Why would you think that? I mean, yeah, that kind of thing does happen and is disturbingly common, but you don't have to worry about that from me. Anyway, we got ourselves some more battles over here. We are actually just about done this dungeon. This is the very last room that we need to worry about in this cave. So once we have finished up this, we should be good to get to the next main area of the game. It was too dark. Don't worry, everything's fine. I saw a Machop in this tunnel. Oh yeah, same. Quite good Pokemon. Maybe you could help round out your team a bit more. Excuse me. You have Pokemon, let's start. Okay. Ariana. It's actually the name of a pretty important villain to the Pokemon lore that we'll eventually see. Well, eventually see, that's kind of a weird statement to make. As I was playing through the game that she appears in back when I was running my Twitch channel. And it was a few years ago now, just even saying that is kind of hard to believe at this point. But yeah, sometime soon I would like to upload all of my streams that I had on Twitch over to this channel. I have all of those streams thankfully saved onto an external hard drive, so I'll be able to transfer those to this channel in due time. Just need to work up the proper motivation to get that done. And who knows, we'll probably get started on that relatively soon. Just want to concentrate on these streams for the time being. You play hard. Yeah, I can see where you're coming from on that, Javier, like setting up a VOD channel specifically for that. Well, I don't know, just kind of having all this content on one channel also seems like a good, I don't know, just kind of more of my personal standards with this kind of thing. Yeah, it is a pretty obnoxious policy. That's the entire reason I am streaming this game here on YouTube instead of Twitch. I do not approve of the recent policies they made. Especially with giving only a few months to take care of all of our stream highlights before they were enacting that policy, like, ew. So yeah, I have no qualms shit-talking Twitch at the moment. Because this is not their platform, so fuck you! But anyway, Khalifa is now learning Seismic Toss. We can get rid of Low Kick. I don't see much reason to have that on Khalifa at this point. And considering your current level, I forget if we're going to get a thing after this battle. But at the very least, we are close to something very good on Pidgey. Yeah, I know, right? And I've certainly invested a lot of time on that platform. So yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles, you know? Freaking love Seismic Toss's animations in some of the other games. Especially, what was it? I think the either Pokemon Stadium or Battle Revolution has a really funny animation for Seismic Toss, which just shows the opponent Pokemon being thrown into the Earth's atmosphere, and then they just come crashing back down to the battlefield. God, I love the presentation of those games, and it is so nice that we are getting a spiritual successor to the Stadium games coming up. Because that will be pretty darn useful for anyone getting into competitive Pokemon battling. Especially because we'll get to see different generation gimmicks like Mega Evolution and Terastallization happening in the very same battles. Like, my god, that is so insane to me that we're getting a game like that. And just imagine sometime later adding updates that can include Z-moves and Gigantamax. Like, my god. The future of competitive battles in the Pokemon series are going to be really, really interesting. But anyway, we are finally done with Rock Tunnel. God, that place was long. But with that, we are finally out of here. So we're back on Route 10. We don't need to worry about any wild Pokemon in this area. I'm feeling a bit faint. I haven't hiked in some time. God, same. Not exactly the person who does a lot of exercising these days. Which, considering I'm now in my 30s, probably would be a good idea to in order to stay healthy. But I just don't want to. I'm stubborn like that. Ooh, Pidgeotto. For you, we'll have Wilma take you on. No, don't sand attack me. I've already dealt with accuracy bullcrap earlier. So get rocked, idiot. Now I feel bad saying that about this Pokemon. Considering a certain thing that I've been doing over on the Comic Burrow server, which actually haven't gotten a chance to do in quite a while, but, you know, the host is busy with some other things, so he's been preoccupied with some other stuff. but I hope to eventually be a part of that activity sometime soon.
Ha 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 ha!
What's so funny? Hiker Clark. Alright, let's take care of this guy then. We do still have a few battles to take care of on this route before we can get to the next town, but... man. Yeah, I'm definitely feeling when we get to the next town, we'll explore a little bit, and then we will call things there, because... yeah, I'm getting a little exhausted at this point. At the very least, we managed to get a considerable amount of levels on our team, so we should be pretty much all trained up for the next battles ahead, which I'm looking forward to.
Not laughing! Hay fever! Hachoo!
Oh, I'm so sorry about that, man. Yeah, being sick is like the worst feeling ever. God, I hate it whenever I get sick. It's always such a pain. Hi, kid. Wanna see my Pokemon?
I need an adult! And I am an adult!
Ah, I was got a Cubone. Now I feel sad. Alright, Sarah, destroy it. Now we got our Pokemon evolved into a Hypno. I do feel like it bears mentioning, this Pokemon has a rather unfortunate reputation among the fan base. Just want to make it perfectly clear, I'm not going to go into any of that shit. I do not like what a lot of people say about Hypno. It's a pretty good Pokemon that does not deserve the rep it gets. God, can we please put you to sleep? Thank you. Again, we don't have a lot of options when it comes to being able to have an easy way to inflict these statuses on opponents, so that's something you gotta watch out for. But at the very least, it does work eventually. There we go, you're dead. Oh no, my Pokemon! Sorry, buddy. I don't like you. I don't like anyone better than me. If that isn't an adequate representation of the Pokemon fan base in general, then I don't know what is. Raditz, you take the lead for this guy.
Ah, this mountain air is delicious!
Hiker Trent. I mean, this guy's name is pretty similar to Tent, which would be appropriate for a hiker to have, you know? Alright, that takes care of that Onix. And then... next Pokemon is... Graveler. Oh, Hacks! That thing is way too low level to be a Graveler. Whatever. Yeah, definitely expect that in a lot of trainers. Typically having Pokemon that you wouldn't be able to have at that level. God, what a pain that is. But, with that taken care of, we finally arrived in Lavender Town. New Sylph Scope. Make the invisible plain to see. Sylphco. Ghosts appear in Pokemon Tower. I think the spirits of Pokemon that the Rockets killed. So this area is definitely an interesting atmosphere to it. But with that, we are pretty much done here. So we'll be looking around the town a bit, and then we will decide our next course of action.
Team Rocket will do anything for the sake of money. There's no job too dirty, no deed too heinous, no crime too wicked.
I saw Kubone's mother trying to escape from Team Rocket. She was killed trying to get away. Oh dear. You know the Cubone species wear skulls, right? People will pay a lot for one. That's very unfortunate. So now that we're in this town, how about we take an opportunity to look at our newest catch? So what do we got, Flondra? You're a naughty nature. That actually improves your attack. Not bad. We might actually train you up. I mean, I say that about most of the Pokemon that we have, but obviously some of them are stronger than others, and would make worthy backup in case the unthinkable happens, you know? Yeah, let's look around. Lavender Volunteer Pokemon House. This town is known as the grave site of Pokemon. Memorial services are held in Pokemon Tower. Huh, so I wonder if Rosie is buried here now. That's odd, Mr. Fuji isn't here. Where'd he go? It's so warm, Pokemon are so nice to hug. This is really Mr. Fuji's house. He's really kind. He looks after abandoned and orphaned Pokemon. Aw, that's sweet of him. Pokemon Fan Magazine, monthly grand prize drawing. The application form is gone. It's been clipped out. Someone must have applied already. It's very nice that we have a place here that looks after Pokemon that have been abandoned and orphaned. Do you believe in ghosts? Yes. Really? So there are believers. But if we say no, I guess not. That white hand on your shoulder. I'm just imagining it. Ugh. Oh, you cheeky tarts. So we go look around here. Hello, hello, I'm the official name rater. Wants me to rate the nicknames of your Pokemon. So this guy is in charge of being able to rename any of your Pokemon if you are not satisfied with their name. And who knows, sometime in the future, there might come a point where we want to change someone's name for whatever reason. For now, let's look around here. Those horrible rockets! They deserve no mercy! That poor Cubone's mother! It was killed trying to escape from Team Rocket! Go! We know Team Rocket has been up to some pretty nasty things lately. But actually learning that some of their members have actively killed Pokemon. Yeah, that is a new low. I'm searching for items that raise the stats of Pokemon. They're effective over the course of a single battle. X attack, X defend, X speed, and X special are what I'm after. Do you know where I can get them? Yeah, I don't think we talked too much about the battle items, but they can be useful. Did you buy some revives? They revive any fainted Pokemon. Not in this challenge, they can't. Sometimes a trainer duo will challenge you with 2 Pokemon at the same time. That happens, you have to send out 2 Pokemon to battle 2. It's not anything we have gone to see at this point, but that is definitely something to remember for the future. But anyway, now that we are here in Lavender Town, this gives us our first opportunity to be able to buy Great Balls. These are much more effective than regular Pokeballs, having a 1.5 times chance of being able to catch Pokemon better than before. So they are quite nice. And we can obviously buy more Super Potions and stuff. We get Super Repel now, which are more effective than Repel. And we could also get Revives, but we're not using those in this run. Let's go ahead and sell this one since we don't need it. And we also picked up a Pearl inside the cave. These are very similar to Nuggets. They are only meant to be sold. So go ahead and do that when you come across them. So that takes care of pretty much everything I want to do here. There's still some other things we could see in Lavender Town, technically, involving this place here. But I feel it'd be a good opportunity to save that for later, considering some of the things we'll eventually discover there. So for the time being, I think this is where we're going to be ending things off. So in between sessions, I'll definitely try to train up our team, and I definitely make sure some of the Pokemon in our box are suitable for joining our roster in these next areas. And next time, we'll hopefully be seeing what we can of Lavender Town and the surrounding areas. Until next time, have a good day, and take care!